to announce a new report that shows for the first time the great return on investment that we get from educating people at Massachusetts colleges and universities. I'm delighted to be joined today by Senate President Karen Spilka, who's been a leader in expanding access to public higher education, Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll, Secretary of Labor and Workforce Development Lauren Jones. I want to give a special shout out to our education team, who's really driven forward with so much of this work, Secretary Pat Tutwiler, Commissioner of Higher Education Noe Ortega, and members of the team. Chair Chris Gabrielli, who can't be here today, but to him and members of the Board of Higher Ed, we thank you. President Marty Meehan, wonderful to see you, President Meehan, and we're joined by so many wonderful leaders from so many of our public institutions. You'll hear from some in a bit, including President John Keenan at Salem State University. But to all the leaders of our state colleges and universities, thank you so much for the work that you and your teams do. Today is about announcing the benefit to Massachusetts residents, to Massachusetts families, the financial benefit of our state public colleges and universities. That is something to be very proud of. Massachusetts, as you know, is #1 in the country in education because of the investments that we make. We're also home to the first school in America, the first university in America, and so we have a tradition and an understanding of the importance of education. Today is about talking to the public and making sure that the public knows the value, the financial value you get as a resident, as a family, by investing in our state colleges and universities, by sending loved ones to those institutions. And that value is measured in income, how well folks do with those degrees. And that's what this report makes clear. Folks do better with these degrees, significantly better. And as a governor and administration focused on costs, building more homes to drive down costs, bringing more energy in to lower your heating and energy bills, working on addressing the challenges of our healthcare delivery system, right? The needs and the issues that are, I think, common to so many across Massachusetts. Today is also about showing how money and economic mobility is made possible through our state colleges and universities. And it's something that we've leaned into. It's why, since taking office, we've doubled the state's investment in financial aid for students attending all of our 29 colleges and universities. In the 2023 school year alone, we saved Massachusetts college students over $130 million as a result of those actions. And now we're seeing that benefit people across 15 community colleges, 9 state universities, and 6 UMass campuses. We've also seen, as a result, enrollment increase statewide, system-wide, for the first time in over a decade. This fall, we passed another milestone as enrollment finally exceeded the level of back to pre-pandemic levels. And I think increased affordability, increased accessibility has made this increase in enrollment possible. We do that and we make these investments, and I want to thank members of the Legislature, the Senate President, and members of the Senate. I want to thank Speaker Mariano and members of the House for the collective decision in investing in education in this state. That's how we create opportunity for people. That's how we create economic mobility for families in this state and grow wealth and grow our economy, is through these investments in education. I'll just tell you, you don't have to believe me, but here's some data, okay? The typical graduate with a 2-year associate degree, the kind offered at our fabulous community colleges, 5 years later, that graduate is earning $20,000 more than they would be had they not gone and gotten that degree, which is now cost-free, by the way. The typical 4-year bachelor's degree holder is earning $30,000 more after 5 years, $30,000 more. These are big boosts, especially when you play them out over time. They add up and they make possible higher earnings down the road, because you don't stay where you start typically, and these people are going to be growing from a greater place. And that's great news for any high school graduate looking for an affordable degree that will set them up for success. We believe that these college degrees reduce income gaps across any number of demographic lines. They're equalizers. They're tickets to the middle class and far beyond, and it's why we remain so committed to ensuring access for all. I also want to be clear that one of the things that's great in this state is we've got many paths to great careers. So we're also investing in career and technical education in our high schools, and we're doing that in a super innovative way because we're pairing up with local employers, so that in high school, you're on a career innovation pathway alongside the other classes that you're taking, and that may be in robotics or advanced manufacturing or clean energy or biotechnology, any of these things, and you're able to work alongside local employers who, by the way, are looking to recruit talent into their ranks. So it's a win for students, it's a win for employers, it's a win for Massachusetts. We're investing in career apprenticeships. We're working with our partners in labor who are training the next generation of folks through our registered apprenticeship programs. And this is in the trades and beyond. We've got 10,000 registered apprentices in this state. And we're also advancing skills-based hiring practices. We're doing this across government, across the private sector. The importance of skills-based hiring, as you know, is making sure that everybody gets a fair shot at a job. So important. It's worth noting, too, that some of the most lucrative degree programs are falling under the heading of trades. So when you read our report, you'll see that pointed out there. They include construction, culinary arts, law enforcement and firefighting, mechanics and repair technicians, advanced manufacturing, and more. Many of these college programs, in fact, are built in partnership with employers and unions in our state. So the bottom line is that we're going to continue to look for any number of different ways to create opportunities for people in the state. Opportunities so that they can succeed, go out and make money, that their families will have greater economic mobility, and as a result, we're going to see our state do even better and better. We're going to continue to invest in public higher ed. Today, we're talking about curricula and some of the study programs that go on. I also want to put a plug in and say I'm grateful to see the legislature move forward with the BRIGHT Act, which is a historic investment in the infrastructure on our public higher ed campuses. So, because we want to make sure that students in Massachusetts have access to the most modern and the best labs and facilities and spaces to do their learning and to do their work. It's also going to boost local economies with a lot of construction jobs involved. We also remain committed to the DRIVE initiative, which is going to create and job-creating research opportunities across our public higher ed institutions. Look, education, it's a winner. It's a winner. We figured that out a long time ago in Massachusetts. It's why it's in our Constitution. It's why we were the first in the country to have a school, to have a university, to have a library. It makes a lot of sense, and it makes for better opportunities and prosperity for our residents. So I'm proud to be here today and to announce that we also have the data to back that up. The report is called Go Higher: The Earnings Outcomes of Public Post-Secondary Education in Massachusetts. Thank you very much to the team and all who worked on this, and I'd now like to bring forward a person who's been a terrific partner on all things education, and that is our Senate President, Karen Spilka.
Thank you, Governor Healey. I'd also like to acknowledge Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, Secretary Tutwiler, Commissioner Ortega. I don't know if the Senate Chair, we're in the middle of caucus and starting a session, so I'm hoping that Senate Chair of the Higher Ed Committee, Joe Comerford, is here, as well as the House Chair. UMass President Meehan, UMass Bay President Podell, I think Framingham State President Nemi is here, and all of the leaders, staff, faculty, and students who are here today who make our public higher ed system incredibly strong, and I would say top in the country. Over the past several years, the Senate has set out to transform how we deliver higher education in the state through our Student Opportunity Plan. We needed more than just a Student Opportunity Act. We needed a plan from cradle to career, and we tried to rip down barriers to higher education, especially financial barriers. We began working closely with the Healey-Driscoll Administration, and I do want to congratulate them and thank them for their partnership on this. That is one thing that I want to stress. Massachusetts knows how to collaborate. We realize you can't get things done just one off or even two off. You need to sit down, roll up your sleeves, work together, and work through the hard details. And that's why it's great to be working with the Healey-Driscoll Administration and all of our partners that you see here and behind us today. We started with community college for anyone over 25 and for nurses for it to be free. Then we made tuition equity the law so anyone, no matter their background, could access financial aid. Then we created Mass Educate, making community college tuition free for everyone. And what happened? Enrollment shot up, not surprisingly. At the same time, we poured historic investments into Mass Grant and Mass Grant Plus. So now, most people from families making $85,000 or less can go to any state public higher ed school, whether it be community college, state universities, or our terrific UMass system. That person can go to that state public higher ed for free. When we all talk, and the buzzwords now are affordability, tearing down the barriers for public higher education or any education, and making it more accessible and affordable, we as a group have done just that. It is free. How much more accessible and affordable can it be, really? Our goal is to improve people's lives, to bolster our economy in the process. I mean, that is really important for the state of Massachusetts. Our students are our future, and through this Mass Educate and all of the funding we've put into this, we are helping to ensure all of an economic growth and our industries thriving. But with this new data, we see that people who take advantage of public higher education here can do just that. They can thrive as well. A degree from our public institutions puts literally thousands more dollars into people's pockets every single year. And our continued investments will keep paying off in the lives of young people, adults going back to school, people who want to make career changes, and people pursuing their dreams. We all fought really hard for these policies. It's not just happenstance. Things like this don't just happen. We fought hard, and today shows us that the fight is worth it, and our investment is worth it. Because nothing, and I'd say nothing, is more important than delivering the tools that our residents need to succeed. So now I would like to bring up President Marty Meehan, so please give a round of applause.
Thank you very much, President Spilker, and thank you for all of your support. Good afternoon, everyone. I am so proud to stand here along with Governor Healey, Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, President Spilker, Commissioner Ortega, Secretary Tutwiler, and so many whose work has helped to ensure that we have affordable, accessible, and high-quality public higher education in Massachusetts. Despite the rhetoric, there is no question that a college education is worth it. College graduates make an average of $1.2 million more than high school graduates over the course of their lifetime. And they also boost our economy here in Massachusetts. We have the most educated workforce in the nation. And a big part of that equation is what UMass and other public institutions do to educate the residents of this state. At UMass, nearly 75% of our 19,000 annual graduates stay here in Massachusetts to live, to work, to build lives, and to drive this state's economy. And those graduates are earning a strong premium on that education. 5 years after graduating, the average UMass alum earns more than $78,000 a year, and that's $30,000 higher than the average high school graduate. And while this is a worthy note, we must also continue taking concrete actions to ensure that education remains accessible for people of all backgrounds. The work that this administration has done, working with the legislature, has been very important in increasing funding for need-based financial aid, and it's life-changing for our students. At UMass, we share that commitment to access, affordability, and quality to ensure that our students receive an education that provides them with a strong return on investment. And starting this fall, any graduate coming from a Massachusetts household that earns $75,000 or less will attend UMass free of tuition. Last year, there were roughly 14,000, 1 in 3 UMass in-state students who did not have to pay $1 of tuition. Since I became president in 2015, we have increased the amount that we put into financial aid by 80% and now award $422 million in UMass-funded aid every year. At the same time, Governor Healey and the legislature have stepped up and expanded the Mass Grant Plus program. As a result, the average in-state undergraduate now pays less than $6,000 in net tuition and fees to attend UMass. And while this achievement alone is worthy of celebration, I'm also incredibly proud that what we've done to ensure that a UMass degree isn't just affordable, but is high quality. All 4 of our campuses are nationally ranked by U.S. News & World Report for quality, the quality of the academic programs, their research, and their service. And our campuses consistently are praised for the value and the return on investment that they provide to our students. UMass Amherst is among the top 50 best value colleges in the nation, ranked by the Princeton Review, and first in Massachusetts. UMass Boston ranks first, and UMass Dartmouth second among public universities in New England for the social mobility of their graduates, according to the U.S. News & World Report. And UMass Lowell ranks number 1 on the list of best value schools in Massachusetts by U.S. News & World Report. So I'm proud of what we've been able to do together. I look forward to continuing to work with Governor Healey, Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, and the Senate President and the Speaker to give our students the support they deserve. But I just want to say thank you to this administration for all they've done for our students that attend public universities in Massachusetts. Now I'm very pleased to introduce a very talented person who all of us know. He's the exceptional president of Salem State University. Please welcome John Keegan.
Thank you. Thank you, President Meehan, for your leadership and your friendship. I thought my font was big until I saw yours. Wow. Great to be here. I do want to acknowledge my colleagues in State University, Fran McDonald from Mass Maritime, Barry Maloney from Worcester, Donna Hodge from Fitchburg, our colleagues from the community colleges as well, and the whole higher ed team that is really here. Governor, Lieutenant Governor, great to be home in the State House as well. Great to be back. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm thrilled to be here today to celebrate once again the amazing work that takes place in our public higher education campuses, particularly at the Massachusetts State Universities. The historic supports and initiatives that the Healey-Driscoll Administration have implemented in Massachusetts for public higher education are simply a game changer for residents of the Commonwealth, and it's clearly evident in today's report. With accessibility and affordability at the forefront of our missions, the Massachusetts State Universities offer the best value proposition for residents to earn a 4-year or advanced degree. Parents ask me all the time about what jobs will be available when their students graduate, and parents and students alike hope they'll land a great job thereafter. Well, today's report proves just that. College is well worth the effort. Our campuses combine affordability, career readiness, robust student support, and a commitment to equity. I can still say that, providing access to higher education opportunities to traditionally underserved populations and communities. Our graduates leave prepared not only for professional success, but as importantly, as engaged citizens ready to tackle the challenges of the day. With nearly 40,000 students attending our 9 campuses, and over 93% of our students hail from Massachusetts, and more than 85% of those students remain here after graduation and enter our workforce. State universities play a critical role in providing first-generation working-class and immigrant students with a launchpad into the middle class. At Salem State, we serve 11 of 26 gateway communities, more than any other in the Commonwealth, and are the first 4-year public Hispanic serving institution in the Commonwealth. I'm pretty excited by that. Like me, more than half of our incoming class are first-generation college students. Nearly 50% are Pell eligible, meaning that their family income is currently earning less than $50,000 a year. Because of the unprecedented support of the Healey-Driscoll Administration, most can attend Salem State for free, as President Meehan just pointed out as well. Today's earnings outcomes report highlights the extraordinary economic impact attaining a public higher education degree for both these graduates and the state as a whole. Our state university graduates fuel key sectors of the state's economy, including healthcare, education, public safety, biotech, finance, and technology, and a bachelor's degree from a Massachusetts State University significantly increases lifetime earnings and job stability. This is evidenced by the 5-year earnings reported in this study, but will also be more apparent in a decade when our professional degree recipients, like nurses, teachers, social workers, police officers, will see an even greater earning potential. A Massachusetts State University degree pays dividends over the course of a career, and our graduates remain in the Commonwealth and contribute to both our economy and our community. And who knows, you might even go on to become Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth. I would like to again express my gratitude to the Healey-Driscoll Administration for the historic, truly historic investments they have made in public higher education here in Massachusetts. As a proud former state representative, I appreciate the challenges that go into balancing the state's budget and extraordinarily grateful for how we have prioritized state universities and our students. Investing in state universities is not just an investment in our students, it's an investment in the future of the Commonwealth. As Horace Mann famously said, education is the great equalizer. State universities are the engines of social mobility that fuel our local economies. It's now my pleasure to introduce one of our outstanding Salem State alums, who is living proof of this report's findings. We actually met, I started at Salem State in 2014. Gaetano was already a student there. I went in as general counsel. We met before I became president, and we talked shockingly about politics and law, and Gaetano actually went on to law school. But it's my great pleasure to introduce our Salem State alumni who's going to give some more evidence of this report's finding, who also graduated summa cum laude from Salem State in 2017, Gaetano Modellaro.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. At an early age, the realization hit me that higher education wasn't a better path to improve my economic situation. It was the only path. A rare genetic disorder that comes with severe pain, back-to-back surgeries, and affects every joint in my body, eliminated most meaningful paths to escape poverty that I was born into. coupled with the need to sustain higher quality healthcare to engage in basic day-to-day functions. Success entailed immense struggles prior to even approaching the starting line for competing for a limited number of scholarships and grants that might be enough to secure a pathway out of poverty within the confines of my difficult situation. While SNAP benefits, Section 8 housing, and other support programs were vital at providing the minimum economic threshold needed to sustain even an attempt at moving forward, they were alone insufficient to achieve my goal of securing economic independence and a normal life. As a senior corporate tax analyst at UKG, while I have achieved the goal with generous support starting at Salem State University, with economic help through things such as the Walsh Family Scholarship and the Honors Program Scholarship, I look around at others with similar limitations, knowing that expanding accessibility to affordable higher education is needed to even give them a chance to even attempt to escape poverty, to achieve a normal life on a living wage, for a chance to live with autonomy, dignity, and purpose. Higher education provides the tools necessary to improve young people and people of all ages their ability to think critically about the challenges we will inevitably face in the ever-changing job market and social landscape. As a political science major, the critical thinking skills I learned at Salem State University were vital to my success at Boston University School of Law and in my previous and current positions at PwC, EY, and now UKG. I thank Governor Healey and the legislature for providing me these tools through continued support for higher education, with the hope and optimism that in the future it can eventually be accessible to all Mass residents with the drive and grit to improve their lot in life. Undoubtedly, our next speaker, Ali Joyce, the program manager for early and emerging talent at Ultragenyx, will echo similar sentiments. Thank you.
Well, that's a tough act to follow. My name is Ali Joyce, and I manage the Emerging Talent Programs at Ultragenyx, a biopharmaceutical company committed to bringing novel therapies to patients with serious rare and ultra-rare diseases. Before joining Ultragenyx, I spent over a decade in higher education as a career counselor and co-op coordinator, helping students identify their goals and chart their paths. Today, I'm on the other side, creating opportunities for students to grow and thrive at Ultragenyx. At Ultragenyx, our culture is really our cornerstone, with our core values guiding everything that we do. We strive to create a supportive environment for learning and growth where people find purpose in their work, see impact of their contributions, and thrive inside and outside of work as well. The care we have for patients really extends to our people, where we understand that our work, our best work, comes from a mosaic of different backgrounds and perspectives. Partnerships with Massachusetts institutions are critical to that diverse perspective and the development of our talent pipeline to contribute to the diverse perspectives of our teams. Since 2018, we've hosted 62 interns and co-ops from schools like Middlesex Community College, Northeastern, UMass Boston, Amherst, and Lowell, and Mass Maritime Academy. When we recruit, we look for curiosity, adaptability, and alignment with our values. Students excel in collaboration and creativity, but often need help bridging classroom theory with real-world challenges. And that's where experiential learning and strong educational partnerships make the difference. One example, this past January, we welcomed 4 Middlesex Community College students through our partnership with the Learn and Earn program. These students were a part of the biotechnology program and stepped into year-long internships in our supporting our gene therapy manufacturing facility. All 4 students were eager to learn and contribute to our mission, so much so that we converted 3 to full-time positions, and the 4th student continued in a longer-term contract position. We're thrilled to have found such an incredible way to meet the needs of our business while supporting students in finding meaningful careers. And we're now in the process of recruiting our 2026 interns and co-ops as well. Finally, I want to thank the Massachusetts Life Sciences Center, led by Kirk Taylor, and partners like Mass BioEd, Mass Bio, and Bioversity for helping us to strengthen the life sciences talent pipeline. Together, we're building a future where Massachusetts remains a global leader in biotechnology innovation, where students have clear pathways to meaningful careers. Thank you so much for your time, and I now have the privilege of turning it back over to Governor Healey.
Thanks, Charlie. Thanks so much, Allie. Just a great example, one of our great Massachusetts companies employing Massachusetts residents and students who hail from our great public colleges and universities. So that's exactly what we want to see. Thank you for speaking to that. Gaetano, thank you so much for your story and showing what's possible and why it's so important that we continue to create access and opportunity for every kid, every person in Massachusetts. I again want to thank the leaders of these incredible public institutions across our state, and they are across our state, because we want to make sure that people and kids and students in every region have access to a higher educational opportunity. I want to thank all the administrators and staff at those institutions, and I want to thank the educators, too, who are out there every day. I want to thank the educators at the secondary school level, too, who are helping guide students forward in a path that's going to set them up for success. So really happy to be here today to make this announcement. Secretary Tutwiler, Commissioner Ortega, thank you so much for this great report. Go higher, go higher. That's what today is about. And thank you, everybody, for coming. We're happy to take any questions on topic, if there are any. Yeah, yeah. No, we need everything in Massachusetts in terms of the fields. I want everyone to have higher wages, not lower wages, no matter where you're working or in what industry. And I think that's what we show here in Massachusetts in terms of what's possible. It's why we've made the investments in high school that have never been made before. I mean, we've leaned big time into programs like early college. You can be in high school and attend classes at a community college and already build a bank of credits towards a higher degree. At the same time, we're supporting more seats in vocational schools and more career readiness through our career innovation pathways. And we know students are also able to graduate from high school and step into great learning opportunities. And that's all in addition to the incredible opportunities made possible through our colleges. And it's why here in Massachusetts we've got programming that extends in everything from nursing and health sciences to advanced manufacturing and robotics to the life sciences, AI and computing, and across the board, including in traditional trades. Hold on, yeah. Any on topic? Yeah. Yeah, I think the Trump administration continues to make moves that are not consistent with growing the American economy, putting America first, making America more competitive. One of the reasons I've leaned hard into funding for research and science in this state is because I know right now countries like China, Canada, countries from Europe are on campuses in Massachusetts and across the United States looking to recruit away scientists, researchers, entrepreneurs, and talent. So these decisions don't make sense. The defunding at the Department of Education is really hard to get my head around. We've got a lot of families here in Massachusetts whose students are on IEPs, who receive special education, and the defunding of that by the Trump administration is sad and beyond heartbreaking. It just doesn't make sense at all. So the news the other day of shifting some responsibilities to other departments Look, we've been through this. This isn't our first rodeo. Remember what happened when they doged everybody? The money that was lost, the efficiency was lost, the programs that got shut down, the workers that got fired, only to have to restart those programs, rehire those workers. We lost time, and with that, we lost a lot of money, and the American people suffered. So I don't understand this move that the Trump administration is making, but to me, it's another example of the Trump administration not doing things that are about actually growing the American economy for the vast, vast, vast majority of Americans. Hold on. Okay, we're going to move to off topic. Yeah, if you want off topic, I can see you. Yeah, because I don't, these poor people need to get back to the great work that they're doing, so forgive me. Thank you, team, for the awesome work you do. Okay, anybody off topic will come over here.